vliegen, zodat ik niet te veel
Oké.
van uw tijd neem.
Nee, is geen probleem, is geen probleem.
Is het oké als we in Engels verder gaan?
There's no
Of
problem.
no problem? Okay.
No problem.
So I'm gonna start the questions. How did you begin? Can you tell me a bit your story from before you started at Van Marker College?
I have a background in heating engineering and in marketing management. I always worked in that domain. Always had in the levels I did always were on a general management level I worked. One experience which I think is now very relevant is that I was a general manager of for 10 years of a lobbying company which did lobbying for the oil sector, the heating oil sector, and one of the major activities that were training. So training is something which I have some experience before Van Marker. Yeah.
Right.
So the Van Marker College is not my first experience with training.
Okay. Could you describe Van Marcus College, its business model and how it has evolved over time?
Well, how it has evolved, I don't know if you checked it already, but the first courses that were given with Van Marker was in 1968.
Wow. I thought it was founded
Yes,
in 2010.
well, you have to see it from another way. The first really courses that gave it. So in 1968, I suppose your grandfather or whoever saw somewhere an opportunity. So the need for training his employees. It was not the college how we know it today. It was just something that he stated that he noted that my people need training. If they want to sell something, they need training. So the first training was given in 1968. When did it really was a college with a structured organization and with people who were dedicated to working for college? That was absolutely 2010, I think. 2006.
And that's also the year when it was for people that were not employees.
Exactly. But that's the business model. Well, the model, the need for Van Marken was always Van Marken College was always seen at two levels. The internal level, that means our employees need to be trained, but as well our customers are asking for training because we're in a quite technical environment, an environment which evolves very fast, certainly today. So that's in fact the basic business model of Van Marken training, Van Marken College, training internally, training externally.
And maybe some key numbers I could use. What is the amount of people at Van Marker College? What's the outside revenue? What is the funding of Van Marker?
So you have to know, if you just look at first the domain Van Marker. Van Marker has about 1,500 employees. In total, that means EDC, the logistics, the drivers. If you're going to look at really the business department, and what is the business department? The business department are the people who are really in the selling business and everything around it. So the sales, the marketing, everything around that. There you have to see there's a potential of about 700, 800 people about. That's internally Marke. You have to you can say that in 60-70% of our trainings that we give internally, like 70% is for the business. The other
Okay.
part is more for logistics. If you look at a business, you have to. I know it's very abstract, but if we say it in hours of training, we give about 16,000 hours of training.
Per year.
In yeah, in a year. In a
Okay.
year. I know it's a very abstract number.
And 40% is for people outside of Denmark.
Yeah, 40% about this is for that. So for that part, and those 16,000, 40% is about outside people of America.
And
So the mainly yes, sorry.
how much percent of those outside of America are paying?
Are
Paying?
pay customers about that exact number I don't have in mind, but if gut feeling, I say 50%. 50% is are paid by the customers. Yes.
Okay.
In the what's the vision? So now we're talking about the customer training. In the customer training, you have as well two levels. You have the brand level. We have different brands, and they give trainings about their products. They are the free trainings. Customers don't have to pay that. A second level of our trainings are the we call it the certified trainings, that are trainings who are acknowledged by the government, controlled as well by the government. That's where the customer, so the installer, to be more exact, the installer receive a permission to do something. For an example, he may go install solar panels with that certificate. And that's the second level of our trainings, and that's about, like I say, gut feeling. 50% are those type of trainings at the moment.
And so can you give me an idea of how many certifications we have that are ongoing?
In courses or in people? In courses. In courses, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different courses. So for an example, but you could always, how do I say it? It's as well what is pushed by the government. You see immediately an effect in your courses. For an example, now if I look at 2 years ago, we had about 4 courses a year concerning heat pumps. I just give that example. 4 courses a year concerning heat pumps. Now, this year, I think we will have 25 courses, certified courses on heat pumps. And why is that? That's why the government pushes heat pumps for the moment. So then you see an increased interest by the installer for exactly that type of technology. So we are also a little bit helped, but as well directly we have a direct impact of if the government takes a certain decision or not. But that can work in 2 ways. And that is something I'm very aware of. If tomorrow the government says you don't need no certification no more for heat pumps, then I know for sure that the course will go down, will stop even. So there you see that it's a good thing that you have that push by the government. You need that certification, but it can work 2 ways. That's a
Okay.
danger. That's a danger of your business model. See?
It's the reliance on the law basically, or the
Yeah, the law,
regulations.
the regulation, external
Mhm.
factors, and I'm very aware of that. So I'm always looking some laws further than just today.
So would
To
you say that's the main challenge of your industry, or what would you consider the main challenges?
well, the main that's being responsible for pharmacology of different challenges. One that is one of the challenges. That means uh, how can my business model survive? That's one of the challenges that I have. Yes, that's one of them, but you have much more. This one of the challenges is also just a sec. Okay, that's okay. Um, one of the other challenges is guaranteeing your quality. If you don't guarantee your quality, government, but we are controlled by the government as well. Yeah, they can say one day to the other, stop, you are not allowed anymore to give those courses. So that is also one of the challenges. That's it's guaranteeing your quality. Um, Very specific for Van Marken College, and that's really specific for us. But if you look at the competition in our sector, Sintra is a competition, CVO is a competition. You have other schools who are competition for us. But what is for Van Marken mainly a challenge, you need to keep, and in that type of courses, I mean, in that type of courses which are certified, don't forget the people receive the indications, they receive a training, they have to do an exam. In an exam, uh, either you pass it or you don't pass it, and that's a decision that our committee, our jury has to do. They have to decide he passes or not passes. But on the other hand, that are the customers of Van Marken College, but there's also the customers of Van Marken trading, of our selling business. So you see the balance that that have to keep. At one hand, Van Marken can say, okay, you pass, you can have you're qualified to do it. But if they're not qualified to do it, we have to say it as well.
Mhm.
But at the other is a customer of buying our products. So it's a very thin line that you have to work on. That's one of so it's if you're asking challenges in my business, there are lots of challenges where we are coped with today in trading. Major challenges that's one of them I call, but one of the majors I'm coping now with is the way how we train.
Yes.
Um, and that there are different factors today. It's a very fast world we're living in. Time is we don't have very much time, people. Mobility is a very big issue. Um, so physically, a training becomes more and more difficult. But and then you could say, yeah, there's an easy solution. Let's make some digital trainings. But you have to know as well that the world of the installer is not very digital yet. There are people who still they're not very digital. They don't match very good with digital trainings. And second thing, we are very technical trainings. It is simply much easier seeing something in real life, touching something in real life, than in a digital way. So that's my main challenge now. How develop trainings who gives an answer to our mobility issue and to the time issue, but on the other hand, which has an even rate of quality than physical trainings. That's a very difficult one for the moment. But and that is more the long term. That's not the short term. But now I am working in a project with vid1 High School. It's a high school in here, and they are developing now a VR technology.
Nice.
So yeah, it is really nice. It is really nice. It is really nice. But I think we're not yet. The market is not yet ready for that. Not the installer market at this moment. At this moment, but I think within now and 5 years, it will become more and more common. I think in training than it is now. I and it is a really and I'm it's a really interesting program where we're working with, because it's not just the VR, but it is also the metaverse world they're taking with it. So it's really it's too early now, but it's as it's my job to be there on time. So that's something that's interesting, and that's what I see in the long time. Um, one of the big solutions for mobility and time. Thank you.
So is this how you well, that's in the future, but how does Van Marke College differentiate itself from the competitors at this point in time?
Yeah, good one. That's a project I'm working on at this really moment. Well, I'm at, honestly, like when we are as Van Marke College, which is linked to a wholesaler in sanitary heating, that's one thing which is already unique. If I look at the competition, not in the competition in training, but if I look at the competition in the wholesaler, there's not one wholesaler who has a college like Van Marke College. That's one thing where we are already different. If I look really at Van Marke College, that's where we are, how we are unique, or how do I make the difference, and that's the advantage of being linked to the wholesaler. There's one of our training locations. For the moment, we have three major no yes, one, two, three major locations. Excuse me. We have three major locations, which is one in France, which is one in Kortrijk, in Zaventem, and then we have a little bit, and that are really fully equipped. They are really fully equipped with all the latest technologies, and that's the advantage of being linked to the wholesaler, right? If I need a new device, well, the day after I have the new device. And or in tools or whatever. That's one way we have to make a difference. Then in courses, we make a difference where I'm in combining different technologies which are linked, and that is unique in the market. Nobody has that. If I can give you an example about that, again, heat pumps. Heat pumps, you need low temperature technology, so that is underfloor heating. Then you need a regulation for that. If you go to the more classical courses, then you have a training in one day, heat pump, stop. Or you have a training underfloor heating in one day, stop. A regulation, stop. I combine all those in one big training. I call it the combi trainings, where in the morning they receive a training in heat pumps, and then in the afternoon 2 hours underfloor heating and 2 hours regulation. So I look mainly at the combining the course, and that is also a little bit an answer for our problem for mobility and time. So it's still physical courses, but in one day, the installer receives enormously information, and information which is all linked to each other. He can do an entire installation. Can we go into depth like a full day heat pumps? No, that's not possible. But there you need already a certain level of installer, or he needs to have a certain level of knowledge to participate at those trainings. But we do notice that those trainings are people are very interested in it. People are very interested. So if where do I make the difference is one in our training equipment, which is very high level, but as well in the courses, combined courses, different technologies, which is not just interesting for the installer, but as well the quality of your training is very different, because there's lots, you have different trainers, and different trainers, remember that in high school or in mid school, where you have different teachers give a certain dynamic in your training. So the one day, one trainer, okay, that works, and that's not a big deal. But if you get different trainers, it's very dynamic in your training. So people do can appreciate that. So that is the way how you can differentiate with other schools. It's one of the examples. One of the examples.
Mm-hmm. So what I understand is that you have the advantage of having the wholesaling company for keeping an eye on the new product development and the innovations in the industry, or how do you how do you discuss how is your approach towards innovation and new product
Well,
development?
it's logic. We are in the middle of it. If I look again at the business has to be very innovative. They have to be on top of every technology which is there and which is coming. And of course, that's the advantage that we have as college. We are next to it. That's why in every sales meeting I am present. Even I don't have to do anything with sales, but it's just to keep in touch with what is happening there outside in the world, and it's mainly to like you say, we are on top on everything which is innovative and which is going to come, and
And
then you can adapt your courses to that.
how do you stay up to date?
Well, I'm just when I'm always present every sales meetings with procurement. For procurement, for an example,
Okay.
that's a part which is a selling part. We just had a major heating event in Germany, and that's the eye on the future. That's the eye on the future. If you have to be there as a wholesaler, but there you see what is coming in the future, and that keeps you very sharp. And that's where I get my information. But you get your information in professional lecture, in professional literature, and I go talk very often as well with the people in the fields, and the people in the field are the point of sales of Vamarke, that are the customers of Vamarke, the installer of Vamarke. And listen, I'm already how old am I? Okay, I'm about 30 years now in the heating industry, the heating and climatization industry. I know already what the trends will be. I feel it as well.
Okay.
That's the experience as well. That's the experience.
Because I think it's interesting to understand which strategies or tools you have to stay up to date. I think that's interesting for Van Marke College, for my research actually about Van Marke College.
When your research is specifically about Van Marke College, it is like that. This specifically Van Marke College, yeah.
Mm.
We are not just any training institute like the others. We have a very focused goal, which is always the energy transition, renewable energies, all that stuff, energy and comfort in houses, which makes our job a little bit more easy than it are. Well, easy, it works in both ways. More easy than the competition, because they have to manage courses as hairdresser and carpenter. Uh, so on the level of focus, because I've been also in the business of sales. One of the key success factors is focus, is absolutely focus. And that I think is for Van Marke College, which is where the focus is entirely on technical level now. On technical level is entirely everything which is energy, and everything around it makes it one, just not easy, but as well very necessary to keep in touch with technology. And we have also our suppliers, and so don't forget the role of our suppliers in all our training activities. They still have a very important part of our trainings, and they have to be in touch, of course, with what is now and what is coming.
So which metrics do you use to measure success? Or how do you measure success?
We have an LMS, a learning management system.
Okay.
So what do we measure there? We measure about quite everything. That means at one person in the numbers, how many students do we have? Where do they come from? What is their background? That is all maintained by the LMS. So that is the pure numbers that you see. Which courses are more visited? Also, we work in the cooperation with our marketing. So, for an example, certain courses are always a targeted marketing that we do. So not all installers receive mails about all our courses. They are very targeted. It's an installer, again, the world of heat pumps. It's the installer who installs heat pumps who will receive mailings about trainings about heat pumps. That is very clear. And all that is controlled by our LMS, learning management system. And then you got the part of quality. But what the numbers, and that I say, like I say, LMS, it's just a big, it's not just something that manages our courses, but measures also our courses. And then on the quality, that's every course is measured by the people. So they have to give an evaluation. What do they think about it? By heart, I think it's about 10 or 15 questions that they have to answer every course. And then we do 2, 3, 4 times a year a general survey to all our customers to ask what do they think about it.
Oh, wow, great.
That's that's the quality level.
And also the satisfaction of them.
Yeah, that's on the course level, that's where we get immediate feedback about the course, the trainer, equipment, catering, everything, distance, everything else. And the general surveys is at a higher level, and is also what do you think about Van Marke College? Instead of that's a now general question. Instead of what do you think of this course, it's how the general service is, how is the enrollment process? How do you experience it? The enrollment process, the contact with Market Service Administration. How do you feel about it? Also, you ask for the future. What we need. We ask also our customers. What courses do you like to see in the future, or what do you like? And that we do 3-4 times a year.
Hey.
It's a general survey.
Oh, that's very valuable information. That's great that you do it so often as well. So can you maybe tell me some recent changes the company went through in terms of leadership or management structure?
The company or Van Marke College?
I'm considering Van Marke College as a separate company. Could you see it as one as well, or do you think it's far-fetched?
No, I see it that way. I see it that way. I see it one of the that's more the financial goal. One of my goals is to be self-sustaining as Van
Right.
Marke College, which is not it is not the fact today, and it is not. But that is one of the goals. So yes, I see myself as a recent as a little bit a separate department within Van Marke College, which
growing
is
to become a company.
Yeah, imagine that Van Marke Trading stops, and they say Van Marke College, you have to go alone in the future. That should be possible. And my wish is that becomes possible in the future, but it's not the case today. So yes, what are the biggest changes now? Yeah, you're looking at one, which is me.
Yes, you're there since 8 months, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not that long, but so I see myself as one of the changes. Like I say, I've a lot of experience in management. The first thing I do is observing. That's one of the first things I do in if I start a new job, is observing how is things working here. Honestly, I must say I was not very delighted with the things I saw within the team, but that becomes, don't forget the history before me. You had my manager, but previous great guy, absolutely. But one of the dangers I see in companies, one of the dangers I see in companies, and it's the time that people stay on a certain position. The previous one, I think he did 15 years Van Marke College, which means that Van Marke is a good employer. I think that gives quality, that says something about Van Marke as an employer. But personally, I don't see that as a positive thing for that department. But you get sleepy. People get sleepy. You don't see anymore what levels can I improve that. So the thing is running. It's running. Everything is running. It's not. But you don't see improvement anymore. So then he was asked to leave. Okay, that's things that happen, because the management of Van Marke saw that as well. There was no more improvement. Then you had Corona. You had COVID for 2 years or 3 years, which I think was Van Marke College. Then it was an eye opener. because they were always used to have physical trainings. And then during a year, people weren't allowed to see each other anymore. So they had to rethink the way of training. And then there were some digital trainings developed. But the manager who was there then didn't have enough feeling with the markets. I said one of my strong points is I have a really good feeling with the markets where Van Marken is commercially active. So the heating and the ventilation and that is my habitat. That's my way of working. So I understand that world very well. But then that means that about 4 years, how would I say, there was no management in Van Marken College. And you noticed that at my co-workers, at my team, they were all very, very sleepy now. We're all very sleepy. So one of the main challenges now is in the structure of Van Marken College, with the plans that I have, and that's very harsh without say what I would say now. It's very hard with what I would say. But one of the main questions that I have in my team is my team able to follow my ideas of how I want to develop Van Marken College. And that is also one of my challenges within Van Marken College. Do I have the right people in my team? Do I have the right people in? And yeah, that's one of the questions now.
Okay.
I can't do this alone. I can't do this alone. It's impossible. I need a strong team around me, but not just in. And then also as well is I need much of input of the other departments. So, for an example, procurement, the Department of Procurement.
Mm-hmm.
So at the others, at the business side of Van Marken, were as well enormously lots of changes in the middle management, in the management team, which has also an impact on my working because, like I said already, I'm going to get my information there with the other departments. So procurement is completely changed, new people, other people. So for us, that's also an impact. So indirectly, other changes in other departments have also an impact on me, on my
Yes.
way of working.
And it's a positive when you or not right now.
Change is good. I'm convinced that change is good, but also that is something I learned during the years. Change needs change management because it's not because you change a certain people or certain structures in an organization that everybody is on that train, is following that. So you always have a period a period of vacuum that you have in your organization that all the other peoples are looking at their way in how do we have to cope with those changes here. So it's you notice that it's during a short time that it's not, the organization is not really working
Okay.
how it should be. Like I say it that way. Yes.
All right. I only have 1 minute left. I'm gonna send you another link because I have only the free Zoom right now. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah, okay. It's good. It's good.
I sent it on LinkedIn.
It's good.
The new link for
LinkedIn
the
is
Zoom?
fine. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, perfect. It's good. Okay.